Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. It is time for a weekly training. And this week, as promised, today we are starting off the month of May and our training with follow-up. Follow-up is probably going to be, if it is not already, the biggest part of your business. So creating a system for follow-up. I'm going to start at the beginning though. So I'm going to tell you, follow-up. What is follow-up? So follow-up is quite literally following up and doing customer service. That's really what it all boils down to, is customer service. If you've ever been somewhere where you've either shopped or I know that there are some stores still who do this, to where, like even Target, when I do my drive up or pick up delivery, I will get a little email afterwards saying, how was your experience? Did you like it? Blah, blah, blah. It'll even sometimes give me the option for a survey. So it's somewhat similar to that, right? But we are the face of Scentsy for our customers, right? And so we want our customers to feel valued every single time that they make a purchase through us, no matter how big, no matter how small, okay? So we are going to really focus on follow-up. And you guys have probably heard the term, fortune is in the follow-up, right? I'm sure that you guys have heard that. Or follow-up is key. Follow-up is absolutely imperative to your business. Now, follow-up can be done for a handful of different things in your business, right? But I want you guys to really learn how to do follow-up for every single encounter that you're doing with your business. So even if this is someone who has maybe talked about wanting something, but even hasn't ever ordered, I want you to start doing follow-up with those people. If it is a customer, well, you darn tootin', you better be doing some follow-up with that customer. If it is a host, maybe their party didn't even get to that minimum party amount, right? So maybe they didn't even get to that point. I still want you to follow up with that person. You are going to follow up with every action you're doing in your business. So I have created a very simple and easy follow-up system document. I'm going to share that here. As soon as we're done, I'll tag it down in the comments. It is just a Canva doc. That's all it is. But you can kind of take this, you can look at it, you can kind of see it. And in fact, I'll pull it up here on my iPad because we're going to talk about this. So, like I said, there's going to be different reasons to do follow-up. But the main thing that I want you to take away is that you just have to have a system to do it, right? And we've talked about this before, okay? What is a system? A system is really just habits that you're doing for anything in your business, okay? I think I've got it pulled up here, so we should be able to see it. All right, it's probably backwards to y'all. But so this is the template that I'm going to be sharing with you, and that's what we're going to walk through and follow up. So you can see this is just very, very simple. This is very basic. What I'm encouraging you to do, the reason it's so basic, the reason I'm not giving you like the one that I personally use, is because my follow-up probably looks a lot different than yours. I want you to really find the follow-up that is going to work for you. It may look completely different than mine. It may look completely different than your sponsors. It may look completely different from your friend who also does Scentsy, or your downline, or your team, or your upline, or whoever, right? That's a good thing, because what that means is you are taking a system and you're making it into something that either works for you or you know you're going to stick with. So I touched on this a little bit yesterday in the May lineup of what to expect for May, right? The kickoff to May. Every single thing that happens in your business, it really needs to be unique to you, and it needs to be something that you're going to be able to keep up with. I've shared that, yes, I've had multiple follow-up systems throughout the years. I've tried them all. I've had Excel spreadsheets. I've done Trello. I've done ClickUp. I've done Project Broadcast. I've done my Google Calendar. I've used my Google Calendar, right? All these ways of doing it. I've done pen and paper. I've done index cards in the past, all the different ways, right? And I had to try all these different ways just to figure out what really is working for me. And even still, like, I'm sharing this with you today because I am currently revamping my personal follow-up. So even the follow-up that I've been doing, I'm finding that it's just not, I'm not being consistent with it. And when I'm not consistent with something, I need to tweak it. I need to pivot. I need to change, right? Because that follow-up is important in my business. So I have been using, for at least the last year-ish, I've been using Trello. I was really using it hot and heavy when I was working Scentsy full-time. Now that I've gone back to work, I've been back to work, well, for all of, I think I went back, I think it was December of 2022. So ever since then, right, and it's May, so it's been about 6 months, I guess-ish, that I've been back to work. And I will tell you, in the past 6 months, I haven't been keeping up with my Trello board because I'm not here in my office every day, right? Yes, I can pull up my Trello on my iPad because I usually do take it to work so I can work or watch training during my lunch break, things like that. But I was finding I just wasn't touching it. I wasn't using it. So last week when I was doing a Zoom collab, I was like, okay, I've got to change this up. This is no longer working for me. Because I was pulling up my Trello and I was just like, oh my gosh, the last time I even touched this or inputted something in, like, I'm embarrassed, okay? So it is never something that I want you to be like, oh, I don't want people to know. I'm not doing follow-up, or I'm not doing it at all because I don't know where to start, or I don't know what to do. I want you to ask questions about follow-up. I want you to reach out. I want you to share what's working for you, because it may inspire someone like me. It may inspire your team members. It may inspire another Scentsy consultant, right? Because we are all looking for something that is going to work for us. So I wanted to start off and give you guys literally a tool, right, to actually start with. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to share the link for this. As soon as this video is over, I will drop it here. And because this is going to go on YouTube, it'll be in the description as well. So however you're watching this, you'll get it. Okay. But you'll see it is just extremely simple, because this is where we start. And this is where we really determine what we need to tweak, what we need to change to make it us. All right, so it just says follow-up system at the top. It says customer follow-up. And then there is a section for customer name, order date and type, contact info, first follow-up, second follow-up. Okay? So, hero. Someone else is walking a dog. I'm going to pause for a hero break. Are you good? Are you all right? Are we safe? Are we secure now? Okay, thank you. Good boy. All right. So again, very basic, very simple. But if you don't have a follow-up system, or you were like me and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to change it. Well, then let's change it. Let's change together. Okay. Let's take this as a jumping off point. So you can print this way. You'll be able to print this out if you want to be pen and paper and you want to write things down. I totally understand that. You can keep it in Canva, so you can keep it digital, right? So if you've got an iPad or a Microsoft Surface or a tablet or whatever you're using, you can do it that way. You can do it on the computer, keep it on your phone in Canva, right? However it is that you want to do it is fine. The point is to do it and to get started. So let's break this down. So those are the main things that I really want you to kind of start with, right? The first thing that you want is obviously the customer name. We need to know who we're following up with. The next column there is order date and type. So in all of my systems that I've done, I put the date of the order that it's placed, right? So For example, if this was a pre-order, I wouldn't write down the date that I took the pre-order. It's the date I actually am placing the order for my customer, or the customer has gone to my website and placed the order. That's the date that you're using for the order. Then the type, the order type, right? That's important. So you'll see, if you've ever ran an order report on your workstation, one of the things that you can do is you can actually filter on your order history. And so you can filter by looking up to see where were my PWS orders, right? Your personal website. So that is people who are going to either Scentsy.com and finding you on the locator, or they're going directly to your website because they already know what your website link is, right? And they're going and they're ordering. You will also see ones that are attached to parties, right? So it will say the party name on there. You will see ones that say Scentsy Club, because I hope all of you are talking about Scentsy Club. We're going to do more training on that coming this month. But so Scentsy Club orders will show in there. Those are the order types, right? And why is that important? Well, for one, you want to know where the majority of your customers are shopping and or buying from, right? Are they doing it through you? Are you the one placing the order? Are they going to your website, and are you setting up a party link for them? Like, I even do generic party links every single month, right? So like this month is May customer orders here. And then I have an open party for repeat customers, order here. Then I have an open party for new customers, order here, right? I have all these generic party links on there because I want my customers, and it also helps me on the back end to kind of track, is this a repeat customer? Is this a brand new customer? If they select it. If not, it's no big deal. I'm going to figure it out when I do the follow-up either way. But when it comes to things like that, right, when you have a repeat customer, when you have a Scentsy Club order process, when you have a PWS order from maybe somebody you don't know, maybe they found you on the locator, then that follow-up should look a little bit different, right? So we're going to get into what that should look like in a second. The next column that I have there is contact info. Again, you can do this multitudes of ways, right? If you want to sit there and put in their address and their email and their phone number, then by all means, put all that in there. How are you, what I really want you to focus on though, is how are you going to follow up? Okay? Are you going to be mailing them something? Are you going to be texting them? Are you going to be emailing them? How is it that you're going to follow up? So if maybe it's all three. For me, a lot of times it's all three, right? Because whenever I'm making samples, when a new scent comes out, an LTO, things like that, my customers are the first ones to get samples. Okay? So I want to know who my customers are because I need to know that they're getting their samples. I also look at, and you guys have seen, like I've got my, these are getting ready to be mailed out. They're going out today. So I've got my labels on them, but these are for my Scentsy Clubbers from April. Everybody's who had a club with me that runs, the month that it processes, they get what I call a swag bag, right? So these are going out to them. So I want to be able to pick out where are my Scentsy Club people, right? I want to see those that processed. So that's kind of the order type. And the contact info is, again, how are you following up? For instance, with my Scentsy Clubbers, right? I'm following up, so I would definitely make sure I at least have an address in there because I'm mailing them something, okay? But I'm also emailing them, texting them, all the things. So I pretty much will have all the contact info there because it depends on what I'm sending out, how I'm doing it. Then I just put 2 separate spaces for follow-up. Again, I want you guys to start very basic, okay? And then tweak it, okay? So your first follow-up, I don't care if it's 2 hours after they order. I don't care if it's 2 days after they order. I don't care if it's the same day they order. Just figure out what works for you. Give yourself somewhat of a guideline, okay? I like to give myself grace, and I like to say within 72 hours of someone placing an order, I will be doing a follow-up, okay? Within 72 hours, that's 1 to 3 days, okay? Because Yes, there are days I do work outside the home, right? So there are days work was crazy. I couldn't do anything on my lunch break, so I didn't get any texts out. I got home and I had stuff to do, or I was running over to see my grandson, whatever it was, right? I couldn't get anything out. I will know for the next day. That's first thing on my to-do list, right? Is to send a thank you so much for your order. I'm following up, right? So have a little bit of a guideline. Like I said, mine is between, within the first 72 hours or within 72 hours of their order date. Okay. That's my first follow-up. Your second follow-up, again, tweak it to what will work for you and what is realistic for you. Okay. Some people will follow the 2x2x2 method, right? 2 days after they order, they follow up, and then 2 weeks after they order, they follow up again, and then 2 months after that, they follow up again. If that works for you, then that works for you. Maybe you're going to make another column there for the third follow-up, right? Maybe you just want to do 2 follow-ups. Maybe you are finding that you're being successful in the follow-ups that you're doing, and that's working for you. It doesn't matter what or how many times you do it. That's not the magic piece of this puzzle. The magic piece of this puzzle is actually doing the follow-up. It is truly the action of doing it. All right. So what does a follow-up look like? Again, you are probably going to have some customers that are different from others. I personally do, right? I have customers who I only communicate through email with them. So I'm going to be sending them an email, right? So that email will go out. There are other customers that I only connect with them via text message or sometimes a Facebook or an Instagram message. So that's how I would be following up. There's even others that maybe I don't follow up either one of those ways, right? So maybe I'm actually mailing them something, mailing them a thank you card, mailing a postcard, putting them on my sample list for when I have a new LTO that comes out, right? I want to go back and I want to capture all of those customers who ordered. It really depends on your customer and how you're communicating. But the meat of the follow-up should say about the same, right? For me, the very first follow-up will sound like this. Hey, Ivy, thank you so much for placing your order on my website today. I absolutely love the scents that you picked out, that brand new Tinkerbell scent, Sweet and Sassy. It is one of my new favorites. I really can't wait for you to smell it and hear what you think about it. Let me know if you have any questions, and when your order ships out, you're going to be getting an email with that shipping info. Short, to the point, sweet, right? What am I doing? I am simply thanking in that very first follow-up, right? Thank you so much for your order. If you know them a little bit better, right? Maybe you'll have a rapport built up, right? Like, hey girl, oh my goodness, I see you reordered your favorite scent, right? Whatever. You're going to get into that flow. But for the basics, right? Your very first follow-up, as a customer, what would you expect? Do you want to be thanked? Do you want to be acknowledged? Right? You want those things. I do as a customer. I buy from other small businesses. I buy from Etsy people and things like that, right? I love it when I get an actual thank you back. I don't get that all the time. So when I do get it, it makes them stand out to me. And that's what you want with your customers, okay? You want to stand out. You don't want to immediately be, oh, hey, Ivy, I see that you ordered today. Thanks so much. Okay, so you got a 6-pack of wax. I really think that you're going to be interested in the Father's Day collection. So it launches on May 8th, and we've got a really great warmer, and there's there's 2 brand new scents that I think that you might like. And oh, by the way, we also have Star Wars launching this week too. Oh, and Beauty and the Beast. Do you like Beauty and the Beast? Do the kids like Beauty and the Beast? Because we have a beast and we have a belt. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm completely overselling. And what I'm doing is I'm out selling my thank you. I'm giving too much, right? Your customer at that first touch point of that follow-up, they just want to thank you. You want to build relationships with your customers, right? You don't want to be bombarding them. And you most certainly, and maybe, again, if it's somebody that you know, then again, it might look and sound a little bit different, right? You have a rapport. You have a relationship with those people. But for the most part, your customers just simply want to be thanked. Thank you so much for choosing me as your Scentsy consultant. I appreciate this so much. One of my favorite things to say is as a mama-run business, every order means the world to me. Thank you so much for placing your order today. Simple and to the point. Thank you. You're appreciated. I appreciate you choosing me, right? Those are the feelings that you want your customers to have. My favorite quote by Maya Angelou, you guys have probably heard me say it, I don't even know how many times, right? It's not what you do, it's how you make someone feel. How do you want your customers to feel? Do you want them to feel thanked and appreciated and that you're excited that they placed an order through you? Oh my goodness, yes you do. Yes you do. Now the second follow-up, again, depending on you and how you want to do this and what that timeline looks for you, I will be honest, for 9 times out of 10, I may not always catch to be able to do that follow-up when the order ships. I try, but I don't always catch it when it's actually shipping out. But I do know that Scentsy is also sending them an email with that tracking information. So Scentsy's kind of given me a little bit of a buffer there, right? But you may feel that it's more important to make sure that you're following up when it ships out, letting them know what to expect. Oh, look, it looks like it's going to arrive on Friday by the end of the day. Let me know if there's any issues when you get your package, right? Maybe something like that. And then you can kind of then determine what that next follow-up will be, right? For me personally, again, I do that first follow-up within 72 hours is that first follow-up. Thank you and appreciation. The next follow-up I do is usually 2 weeks out. 2 to 3 weeks. Let me give myself a little bit of grace there too, because yeah, again, I sometimes do get behind in the follow-ups, but I do intentionally try to make sure that I'm on time. So I like to do at 2 weeks, sometimes it's a 3-week follow-up, but what that does is that really allows time for their order to have been shipped out, for them to have received it, and hopefully, I mean, I do have customers who they don't open their box for a while, and that's fine. But for the most part, I will say the majority of my customers, as soon as they get their order, they are opening it, they're smelling the scent, or they're pulling out the warmer that they purchased, right? Whatever it is. So in that second follow-up that I do, I wait until they've received their order, giving it a little buffer of a few days, again, for them to either pull it out, use it, set it up in their house, warm it, I don't know. And I'm following up, and that follow-up sounds something like this. Ivy, I see that you've gotten your order. I really hope you're enjoying that Tinkerbell scent, Sweet and Sassy. We also have a really great one coming out that I'm going to be sending out samples. I want to get your opinion on the brand new Beauty and the Beast scent, or the returning Beauty and the Beast scent that is coming out. I think that's another one that you will really enjoy. Watch for your mailbox because Happy Mail is headed to you. Do you have any questions about anything with your order? And then I will kind of leave it with that open-ended question, right? Because what I want is I want feedback. I want to know, do they love the scents that they got? Do they love the warmer that they received? Did something happen? Is it not fitting? Or does the lid not fit right? I want to know. Are they having an issue? Do they not know that it's an element warmer versus a light bulb, right? Are they confused? Like, wait a minute, I didn't get a light bulb. Or where does the light bulb go? Oh, well, that's an element warmer, right? That's when you get to do a little bit of education with your customers about the products. So it really kind of depends, again, on what they're purchasing. If they're purchasing clean products, right? I'm probably going to throw something in there and say, hey, have you cleaned the kitchen yet with your counter clean? What did you think? Do you really like it? What did it work best on? I like using it on my refrigerator, my dishwasher, and my stove specifically, right? Like you're giving them info, you're validating their purchase. And again, you want more of a call to action, right? You want them to respond back. And this is where, and another reason why I don't really have a hard third follow-up. And that's simply because that second follow-up that I'm doing, when I'm asking them about the product, what did you think? What are you loving? Maybe what are you not loving, right? Maybe there's a scent that they got that they're just like, oh my gosh, I warmed that one and I couldn't even smell it when I warmed it, whatever, right? Okay, great. Let me send you out a sample of another one that I think you might enjoy, right? I'm kind of doing more of a takeaway from that, right? I'm taking notes on what it is that is going on. And again, I want that open-ended question because that's going to allow me as the consultant to really kind of guide them into their next purchase and take a gauge, right? So it's almost like a pulse check with my customer, okay? I talked about doing a pulse check on your business, right? Doing a pulse check on that customer. Are they hot and heavy for Scentsy? I mean, are they like over the moon excited about the warmer and the scents that they got that they just cannot stop? And they're like, oh my goodness. Well, that is when you want to be saying, well, oh my gosh, guess what's landing this week or next week? This is what's coming out. Or I'm getting early access to this brand new scent collection. As soon as I get it in, I'm going to send you some samples, okay? Because I really think this one is going to be good, right? That's the excitement that you want to feed back. And so then I take that and then they just kind of land into my pond of customers. Okay. So that pond of customers is just kind of there and circulating. And I'm using that as a touch point. But again, that's why I kind of leave that third follow-up off. Because if they're hot and heavy for Scentsy, then I know they're going to want the newest thing, or they're going to make sure, I want to make sure that they're getting the new scent of the month, a sample of that, whatever, right? I want to be following up. I want to be able to say, oh my gosh, so you're loving the Scentsy Go. Oh my gosh, you have got to try one of our wall fan diffusers because the pods in there, fantastic. And they're great for like breezeways, the hallway, whatever. They're really good in those traffic areas, right? You want to lead that conversation with the customer. So I want you to think about the follow-up and how you're going to do it, okay? Take this as a starting point, like I said, and start running with it and see what is working, see what isn't working. Maybe you are doing something that is working really, really well. And if so, stick with it. Because here's the thing. Once you keep tweaking how you do your follow-up, and once you find, hey, this is working for me, I'm really good at checking this, I'm really good at doing that follow-up, I make sure that every Wednesday, that's my follow-up day, so I make sure I go through all of my customers and I get them done, right? All of those things. You are going to find your own rhythm in follow-up. But whatever that rhythm is, it just needs to be something that you're going to be consistent with, something that you're going to be able to keep up with, which is why, like I said, I have found myself in the position where I am, right? I'm no longer here in my office in front of my own computer all day, looking at my Trello boards and making sure and moving cards and doing all the things. My follow-up system has to change because I know I can't stop doing follow-up, right? That's how I get my repeat customers. And the majority of my business is repeat customers, okay? So I want to ensure that my customers are happy, that they know that they're appreciated, that they know that I'm keeping them in the loop for things that I think that they're really going to love, right? Part of this system too, you can, again, really tweak this to what's working for you, put it in a program, put it in a planner, put it in a binder, put it in an Excel document, I don't know, right? But maybe you're also taking notes, right, on they received their order and they absolutely loved Aloha Orchid. I sent out samples of Aloha Orchid and they are loving it. So now I know that going forward, they're going to like more of that fruity, fresh type of a scent, right? So when I see or when I know that we have a fruity, fresh scent coming out, that's going to be somebody that I'm going to follow up with, right? Because I'm going to be saying, hey, this new scent's coming out and this one sounds like it's right up your alley. As soon as I get it, I'm going to send you a sample out. These are the ways that you're going to make your customer not only feel appreciated, not only feel thanked, but also feel like a VIP. I want every single one of my customers to feel like a VIP, because every single one of my customers is a VIP to me. Because without customers, I don't have a business. I truly feel this to my core, that follow-up and customer service and how you leave your customers feeling will make or break your business. Bottom line, it's going to make it or break it. And I can look back because I have years of doing Scentsy, right? Going on 12 years. And I can tell you that over that time, right, I personally can go back and know the times just based on my PRV. Based on, was I doing well in my follow-up? Was I being consistent in getting that follow-up done? Because I will either see an increase or I'll see, hey, it's trending pretty steady, right? I am running my numbers really well. Or if I see a dip, oh, look, in those couple of months, I guarantee you I probably slacked off my follow-up. I guarantee you. And I guarantee you, if I were to run a report, that's exactly what I would find. That I probably wasn't following up with those customers. And that's why my sales dropped that next month. That's why, I had a fantastic month before, but then that next month tanked, right? It's probably because I didn't do some follow-up. I didn't leave my customers feeling appreciated. I didn't know that they were super excited about Scentsy. So when I didn't reach out and I wasn't connecting with them, they were probably seeing Scentsy from someone else on Facebook or whatever, or they have a friend of a friend of a friend, right? And maybe they ended up ordering through them because they didn't feel appreciated from me. So you don't want to give your customers a reason to not shop through you. You want your customers to really pick you out of the crowd. You need to be who they think of when they think of Scentsy. When they're talking to their friend, when someone comes to their house and sees this warmer and they're like, what is that? Where did you get it? And they're like, oh my gosh, you have got to talk to my Scentsy consultant. They are the best. That, my friends, is worth its weight in gold. That is not only going to increase your PRV, it is going to increase your customer retention. It's probably going to increase your Scentsy Club subscribers because you're going to have the opportunity to have more conversations with them when their favorite scents are either retiring or are no longer available. It was an LTO, right? Because you're going to be wanting to say, hey, I know how much you love that Tinkerbell Sweet and Sassy. We have got to get that into a club for you. So that way it is locked in. Because once that scent goes back into the Scentsy vault, it's gone. And I know how much you love it, right? Again, how you're making your customers feel. So that's your takeaway for follow-up. Use this as a guideline if you need to. If you have, like I said before, if you have a system that's working, then stick with your system. You don't need to try and change it up. You don't need to do anything different. Just figure out, is there anything that I need to tweak? Is there anything I need to change? Right? Like I said, for me, I am currently in the stage of redoing my follow-up system because what I've been doing is no longer working. So I'm probably going to go to a hybrid for a while of paper and digital, and I'm going to have to tweak it out over the next month or two to really figure out, okay, what am I keeping up on? What am I not keeping up on? And what am I being consistent with? Okay? These are the things that I want you to think about as you dive into follow-up in your business. We're going to talk more on this subject. I am going to be putting more info here in the group as well. And of course, we're going to have a lot to talk about, because throughout the rest of this month, we are going to be focusing again more on follow-up and more on Scentsy Club. So be sure that you are tuning in, or if you aren't able to catch these live, trust me, I understand, right? Life and family and all the things get in the way of us having fun with Scentsy. But just remember, you want to be able to bookmark these things to go back. A lot of times, I've shared this before, right? A lot of times, me catching up on other trainings is usually when I'm in the kitchen cooking dinner. I will either have it playing on my phone or the iPad or something, or on the Google Home, on the little Nest thing, right? And I'll just have it playing in the background so I can just kind of listen to it, right? Because I may not have time to sit down and watch like a 45-minute video, but I can at least listen to it while I'm doing something else and then be like, okay, I'm going to work on that this week and write it down on my to-do list, right? To go back to. So make things a priority in your business, and you are going to see that once you start prioritizing certain things like follow-up, for example, when you start prioritizing these things, when you start being intentional with how you're doing it, everything is going to go up in your business. Your PRV, your sponsoring, your team engagement, all of the things. All of the things. And you guys can do this, and I know that you can. I wouldn't share these things with you if I felt it was just like, oh, nobody's going to understand this. It's going to be crazy. No, this can be as simple or as complex as you want to make it, as long as you're doing it. That's the important takeaway. That's the important thing. Okay, you guys know, same time next week, I'll see you again for another training. And if you guys have questions in the meantime, don't hesitate to reach out. I am here for you, and I'm cheering you on. Let's have a fantastic May. It's only the 2nd of the month, guys. We have a whole month to kick booty. So let's start kicking that booty. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.